Today is a beautiful day. Just in general, just vaguely beautiful day on Earth, on planet Earth. And it's a beautiful day for AITAH. That's right, folks. Today, we will be passing Judgment and also Surprise Microphone. We're going to start with this one. Am I the a-hole for not tipping after overhearing what my waitress said about me? I'm going to stop right there. It's very rare for me to not tip at least 20%. I will always, minimum, leave a 20% tip. But if the waiter or waitress says something goofy about me, the worst I would do is tip like 10%. I don't know. I, 30 female, was at a restaurant last night with my mother. She was meeting my boyfriend's mom for the first time. We're punctual people, so we got there about 30 minutes before our reservation. We got seated with no issues. It took the waitress 20 minutes to get our table, even though the restaurant was pretty empty. Right away, I could tell she didn't want to wait on us. She didn't greet us with a hello. She just asked what we wanted to drink. We told her, and I noticed that she didn't write our order down. It took another 15 minutes for our drinks to get to our table, and they were wrong. Well, let me see. The thing is, if you're a waiter and you just took two people's drink orders, that shouldn't be that hard to remember, right? It shouldn't be that unusual that she didn't write your order down, but the fact that they were wrong, because like 2 Diet Cokes, pretty easy to remember, but if they're fancy schmancy drinks with fancy schmancy alcohol, that's not good. It's hard to mess up a ginger ale and vodka soda, but she did. Oh, that's really, okay. My mom pointed out that she didn't order a Pepsi, and the waitress rolled her eyes. Nightmare! What I would do in that situation, I would put $2 on the table. I'd be like, sorry, we gotta go, and then leave. That's what I would do. But you had a reservation. My mom pointed out that she didn't order a Pepsi, and the waitress rolled her eyes, took my mother's glass, and disappeared. I excused myself to use the washroom shortly after. I had no idea where I was going, so I went to the entrance to ask one of the hostesses there. While I was walking up to the server area, I overheard my waitress talking to some other hostesses. She was pissed that she had to wait on a black table because they never tip well. Look, this is something that if you've ever worked in the service industry before, you've heard rumors about this. In fact, I've heard rumor of a restaurant once that would have a code word for people of color, actually specifically black people. They'd say Canadians. They'd say we have a table of Canadians coming in. Yeah, that's real stuff. And it's messy and it's gross and weird. She was pissed that she had to wait on a black table because they never tip well. My mother and I were the only black people in the restaurant. She wasn't even whispering when she said it either. Girl, where do you live? This is crazy. I hate that, dude. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I wasn't stunned, but her lack of effort started to make sense. I interrupted their conversation. The thing is, like, dude, this is what's referred to in psychology as a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe that someone's not going to tip you, and then you act as if they're not going to tip you, then you're creating an environment where a tip would not make sense. Fear is stupid. It's crazy. When you assume the worst in other people, when you assume the worst in even yourself, you're going to create an environment where bad shit happens. Optimism is not delusion. Optimism is practical. If this waitress was optimistic, then maybe this waitress would have received a tip, but you just had to be a freaking idiot racist and ruin everybody's time. I wasn't stunned, but her lack of effort started to make sense. I interrupted their conversation and I asked where the bathroom was. I didn't let on that I had heard what they were talking about. When I got out of the bathroom, my boyfriend and his mom were already seated. My boyfriend and his mother are white. When my waitress saw the rest of our party, she did a 180. Her service was stellar. She took notes, told jokes, and our water glasses were always filled. She didn't make another mistake. Because the night went so well, I decided to treat everyone and pay the check. She gave me the machine, and I smiled at her when I keyed in 0% for a tip. She didn't notice until after the receipt had been printed out. By that time, all of us had started to leave. She tapped me on the shoulder and asked if I had made a mistake on the bill. I told her I didn't think so. When I looked at the receipt, she asked if there was a problem with her service. I told her service was fantastic, but since I was a black woman, I don't tip well. Her face went white and she kind of laughed nervously, and I laughed as well. I walked out after that, but my boyfriend's mom asked what had happened. I told her what I overheard, and my boyfriend's mom said that I should have tipped her anyway because it shows character. She seemed pretty pissed at me after that. My boyfriend and my mom are both on my side, but I'm wondering if I should have just thrown in a $2 tip. This is pretty good. This is good. That's not, that's woof. You know what I'm saying? This was a clearly, racist belief. It was clearly a I'm not going to treat you well because you are a person of color, and I don't think I'm going to get anything out of you. That is a bad belief system. The way that you sort of told her that lesson, my assumption is that you made it very clear that you heard what she said, and it seems that it connected to her that you heard what she said. The thing is, though, would she have learned a lesson after that? What's the result you want? Is it for your vengeance? It makes you feel a certain way, right? That's good. You got to do the justice, right? But as a byproduct of that, is the other person now more racist or less racist? That's my question. I don't know what the psychological effect of a gotcha moment like that would be. I really don't know what I would do, but in this circumstance, definitely not the asshole. That's my opinion. Not the asshole. I worked as a server for 6 years, and I would absolutely not expect a tip for behaving like this to customers. She probably does not make much in tips, and this isn't the industry for her. It's so inappropriate to ask people why they didn't tip you. This is so embarrassing. Agree. Honestly, she needs to learn the lesson the hard way. Be kind to people, don't stereotype and discriminate, and don't talk badly behind people's back. You're not Ta. She is Ta. That's what I'm talking about, Ta. And the lesson is, being an asshole can and should affect your wages. So freaking true, dude. I will say this. Because I'm a heavy tipper, like I usually tip 30%, I do expect to be weighted on pretty well. I expect it because I'm usually very cordial and nice with the wait staff and everybody around, the bus people, all that stuff. And I do expect if I've been seated for 10 minutes and the menu isn't there yet, I'm gonna leave. There's nothing that introduces more stress to me physiologically than feeling like I'm stuck somewhere and no one's gonna do anything about it. For example, one time I took some people from my team down to the California Pizza Kitchen. It's this restaurant. It's similar-ish to the Cheesecake Factory. It's just got more pizza. So we go down to the California Pizza Kitchen. I sit down. First of all the overhead lights were on and they were very sterile and white. Second of all, there was no music playing. So I felt like I was in a hospital cafeteria, but with less vibes somehow. And thirdly, no waiter came up because, I don't know, maybe because I look young or because we look young, and nobody came up to us. Nobody gave us a menu. Nobody gave us water for 10 minutes. I left. I was like, let's go. I'm good, and I kind of, I threw the menu down. I stood up. I just looked around. I made eye contact with the host. I shrugged like that, and we left. What is wrong with you? There's people sitting down. Water at least. It's California. It's hot. You know what I'm saying? What a mess. What a crazy thing to do. It's so easy to make tips. Just don't be a dick. Moving on. AITAH for slapping a teenager. I, 32 female, I was at a water park this last weekend with my husband and my daughter. We were in one of the pools practicing swimming and keeping to ourselves. I love a story that starts with, I'm just minding my business, keeping to myself, when all of a sudden, I just love that. I love that. I love a little keep. To myself, keep to yourself, keep to yourself, keep to yourself, keep to yourself, keep to yourself. I was at a water park this last weekend with my husband and my daughter. We were in one of the pools practicing swimming and keeping to ourselves. There was a group of teen boys there, and while I was working with my daughter on swimming, one of them came up behind me, and I felt a tug on the strings of my top, untying it. I spun around and saw this 15 to 17-year-old with a smirk and slapped him. This quickly caused a scene. The park staff got involved, as well as the boys' parents who were livid at me. My husband and another lady saw it happen and confirmed that he really did grab my top. There was also a camera around the pool that kind of showed it, but it wasn't the best angle. The boys' parents threatened assault charges, and I threatened sexual assault charges if they decided to go that way. Eventually, we were both asked to leave and hadn't heard anything since. My husband, though, thinks I overreacted a bit, which I don't. Am I the asshole? This top comment here, not the asshole, that's a natural reaction. I'd probably do the same by natural reflex. I think that's the biggest thing is, that's your natural. It's like, what the, but if you turn around and see it's a kid, you could be like, yo, stop. I'm trying to think of any other reaction that would be equally effective at being like, you do that again, that's a problem. I'd slap that kid around. I'll slap that kid around. Bro, if I was tanning and I saw a kid come up to my girlfriend in a pool and try to undo it, I would go bananas. I would go bonkers. Bananas. Not the asshole. He was clearly SAing you. You used proportionate force in self-defense. Yeah, I think so. What constitutes self-defense? I don't want to look it up because I don't want to be put on a list. In TA, and I would talk to the manager of the park. You were assaulted and used self-defense. You should not have been asked to leave. Honestly, he would have been right behind her. How was she to know his age when she lashed out after having some stranger try to remove her bathing suit top? So true. It's so frustrating to me that these parents are defending the little perpetrator. It's cause and effect. If he hadn't placed his hands on a woman and attempted to undress her in public, boom, 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 bing, 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 ow, he wouldn't have deservedly had his face slapped. They're acting like he's the victim is outrageous and only encourages him to think that behavior is acceptable. You reacted out of a natural instinct and would not have hit him had he not attacked you. This isn't a joke, and his parents downplaying his actions makes me furious. I'd personally file a complaint, but that's me. His parents obviously aren't going to hold him accountable. I just hope that it's not another victim in his future, not the asshole. See, the idea to, like, if they sue you for assault and you counter sue for sexual assault, genius! That's a brilliant move, I think, personally. Should have called the cops. F that punk, f his family, and f the water park for, oh no, both sides are bad. Not the asshole. All right, we're gonna leave it there. Am I the asshole for telling my husband I told you so and laughing at him when we got the paternity test results? I, 27 female, have been married by my husband, 28 male, for 2 years and gave birth to our daughter 5 weeks ago. I'll try to keep this short so I don't waste your time with any irrelevant details. What happened was that our daughter came out with blonde hair and pale blue eyes while my husband and I have brown hair and brown eyes. My husband freaked out at this and refused to listen to my explanation that sometimes babies are born with lighter hair and eyes that get darker over time. He demanded a paternity test and threatened to divorce me if I didn't comply, so I did. So far, it's reasonable for him to be concerned. I think the first thing he could have done maybe is to just Google it, but being impatient and asking for a paternity test, just being like, look, I need to know that I can trust you. I'm sure that this is possible, but I really just want to be certain. It's this I can kind of see, the other guy's side. If that happened to me, I'd be like, hey, this is really awkward and I trust you. I just want to make sure before, the next 18 years of our lives are intertwined. After my daughter and I got home from the hospital, my husband went to stay at his parents' house for the first 3 weeks to get some space from me while I recovered, and he told them what was happening. My mother-in-law called and informed me that if the paternity test revealed that the child wasn't his, she would do anything within her power to make sure that I was taken to the cleaners during the divorce. I had my sister to lean on and help me take care of the baby during this. This does suck that he's not actively taking care of the child and not believing you that sometimes babies are born lighter and get darker over time. It does suck that he's not actively trying to parent with you. We got the results back yesterday, and my husband came home to view them with me. I was on the couch in the living room, so he sat next to me, and we started to read the results. They showed that he was the father, and my husband had this kind of shocked, mortified look on his face, and his eyes wide when he stared at it. I couldn't help but say, I told you so, and started laughing at the way that he looked. My husband snapped out of his shock and got mad at me for laughing at him. We argued for a bit, which was mainly him yelling at me before my sister came downstairs and my husband shut up. At that point, he shouldn't be yelling. At that point, it's like intense relief and like dismissal of all these angry feelings. I think maybe he had all these angry, like, pent up feelings that he didn't know how to get rid of. That does not mean that he should yell at you. He obviously was very suspicious and, a little paranoid. Probably not rightly so, but I do understand that seeing a kid that looks nothing like either of you is a little scary. But what I do know is that he was very angry, obviously, and he was very, hurt probably and felt betrayed and stuff. And then suddenly you pull all those feelings away and there's like this vacuum and he's got to put it somewhere. The best option for him at that time would probably be it'd probably be something like, could I take a 30-minute walk? I see the results. I believe the results. I need to go for a walk right now. I just got a lot of feelings. I think that would be smart. Her saying, I told you so, would probably just break the dam in my brain and just waterworks would come out. Her laughing and her saying, I told you so, tee-hee-hee, is honestly a pretty good reaction from the wife considering he hasn't been a dad this whole time. I don't like that he yelled at her. That's really shitty. After that, my husband went back to his parents' house to clear his head, and 2 to 3 hours later, my mom called to scold me about laughing in my husband's face because apparently it was kicking him while he was down. What do you want down? Maybe maybe he's trying to get out of the marriage? What I will say is mother-in-law is a ride or die. All right, this mother mother-in-law is a ride or die for her kid, whether he's in the wrong or not. I think he's a little in the wrong. She's also left a couple nasty texts essentially saying the same thing this morning. I don't think I'm an asshole, but I'd like outside perspective on this. Since someone asked in the comments, but I can't find it anywhere, I have zero history of cheating. My husband and I both have dark brown hair and dark eyes. Our child equals blonde and blue eyes. Has Op's husband never heard of recessive genes? It's just, yeah, isn't that a simple thing that you do in like biology class? That's one of the, like, I swear that there was an assignment where I had to go through and map out like if this eyes and this hair color could lead to this and that. That's like a simple thing, right? Not the asshole, that guy. Not only doesn't he have a basic grasp of genetics, he threw a tantrum and left you immediately after having the baby to struggle alone for almost a month. That's the bigger deal, right? He's not co-parenting with you. He didn't quickly Google to try to verify what you were saying and then stand by you even with a little bit of doubt while the results were waiting or whatever. Good on you for agreeing to do the paternity test. And in my opinion, he's projecting his own infidelity. Sorry you're going through that, Op. Oh, his own infidelity. My thinking was he might just be trying to get out of the relationship and he was hoping to use this as a get out of jail free card. But if he's out here cheating, this reaction makes a lot of sense too. I don't think being paranoid because you don't have an understanding of basic genetics means that you're being infidelitous. I don't think it means you're being infidelterous. But what it could mean is that he needs to take a little breather and he needs to go back to square one and he needs to mind his own business. So are we laughing while serving him divorce papers? What's the move, girl? I'm a married man and I want to divorce this guy. Look, he was being really prickly and sensitive and a little dumb, you know? But y'all got a kid together. Try to grow through this, in my opinion. Grow through this. I've been with people who have been cheated on before, and they do require a bit of extra patience and reaffirming, you know, your love for them and just more words of affirmation and more reassurance, right? Like these people who've been cheated on before need a little boost. But at a certain level, at a certain threshold, it is not your responsibility to heal their wounds. It's not your responsibility. Hopefully, you know, these people do the work and try to fix whatever expectations they have and wipe the slate clean as much as possible before getting into the next relationship. Because if they're wounded, they're going to bleed on you. And then the rest of your life, you're going to be cleaning up blood for both of you. As many excuses as I'm making for the guy and trying to give him some benefit of the doubt, because like having a child is can be a very scary thing for some. Ultimately, he is kind of the asshole and you're not. That's what I think. All right, here we go. This one is crazy. It's got 40,000 upvotes. Let's see. Girlfriend pointed an unloaded gun in my face. Uh-oh. So let's read this. We were visiting a good friend of mine when he moved out of state. He brought me to his bedroom closet to show me an AR-15 and handgun he purchased after moving. Why do people need Why do you need an AR-15? The only purpose of that is to like mow people down. I handled both guns after checking they were unloaded and I knew they were safe. My girlfriend walks into the room and he hands the AR-15 to her. She does not check it to affirm it is indeed clear. And the first thing she does is point it directly in my face. I slapped the barrel down and said, "What the f*** are you doing?" in an aggressive tone. She then handed my friend his rifle back and stormed out of the room. I'm with you on this, my guy. She didn't even check. That's crazy. She didn't like the fact I aggressively chastised her for ignoring basic gun safety. She told me, "You didn't have to talk to me like I'm stupid," and didn't understand my point wasn't to make her feel stupid, but that action is dangerous, especially since she was not in the room to witness it being checked for live ammunition, and she did not check the gun herself. Let me read this sentence again because I think this is important. She told me, "You didn't have to talk to me like I'm stupid." The problem is you were acting very stupid. This is a very stupid thing to do. These are guns that are designed solely to kill people. And the first thing you did was point it at the person you maybe love the most. That is a very stupid thing to do. Kids do that. Teenagers do that. And that's how adults do that. And that's how people get shot. The positive is hopefully she learned a lesson and she won't do it again. That's what I think. But yes, the action is very dangerous, especially since she was not there. And also, how would she know whether or not there was freaking bullets in there? Why would you do that? When you hold a gun, you don't hold it from the butt of the gun. You usually hold it around the trigger, right? So the fact that she held the gun probably around the trigger and pointed it at somebody made it exceptionally dangerous. That's crazy. Am I wrong for aggressively chastising her, or should I have been nicer? No, you were, like that other story, you were acting in self-defense. Gut reaction. That's what you have to do. You got to go, whoa, you push it to the side, you push it down. Hey, please don't do that. That is exceptionally dangerous. Like, that's the first rule of guns. You never, ever, ever point it at somebody, whether you think it's unloaded or not. ER nurse, formerly of a level 1 trauma center, fully 60% of the shootings I've seen were, I thought it was unloaded, not the asshole. Got a little GSW in the level 1 trauma center, a little gunshot wound. Huh? That's right. I've seen House. A good rule of thumb is to never point a gun at anything you don't intend on killing. That's what I'm saying to you. A few weeks ago, my friend witnessed something like this. He was hanging out with some friends, and one of their girlfriends was playing with a gun, and ignoring the scolding she was getting, she pointed the gun to her boyfriend's face. Boom. Accidentally shot him right there in the face. Good on you for not dicking around. He died, and here's the link. Last one. Am I the asshole for admitting in front of all my husband's friends that I've never had an orgasm? Oh. Pour one out for the husband right now. I don't care where you are. Pour one out for the husband. I'm going to pour this one out in my mouth. Oh man. Oh, that poor guy. And now you're on Reddit talking about it. And now you're on Reddit talking about it. I just as a guy, I don't even want to read this anymore. The short answer is yeah. Well, I don't know. It's your truth. You know what I'm saying? Oh, let me read this. I don't know. Recently was my husband and friend's birthday party. It was a bigger party, and all my husband's friends and their wives were there. No kids. One woman that I'm friendly with was annoyed with her husband and joked, "Men, if they didn't get us off, why would we keep them?" And she laughed. I awkwardly laughed, but I guess I looked uncomfortable. She asked me what was up, and she pointed out that I made a weird face. I said, "I've just never had an orgasm before, so I guess I couldn't relate." Wow. See, if that were a private one-on-one thing, that would not be so bad, but this next sentence changes the game. Almost a dozen people looked at me when I said that. It was super awkward. The wife then awkwardly asked, "Is everything okay down there?" And I said, "Yeah, just have never had anyone try, I guess." Has your husband never tried to make you finish? Do you mean that? You're saying this really weird. I don't know, man. This is very this is what I'm picturing. Oh, you want orgasm? Not me. Oh, is everything okay down there? I don't know. I guess I've never heard anyone try before. Shouldn't this be a conversation you have with your husband and not for the first time in front of other people? I hope that you've had this conversation or Googled it. The fact that you're on Reddit right now tells me that you are aware of Ask Reddit and Ask Women and these areas where you can look up advice for this kind of thing on how to communicate this. Why is your first time, or why are you bringing this up in front of a lot of other people? Something's fishy about this. Cause saying, yeah, just never had anyone try, I guess, is kind of wild. Cause every guy with an ego at all is gonna try. That's what I think, right? Is that not the case? Is my mind about to get frickin' blown right now? Tell me if that's not the case. I want to know. I want to know, but I also don't want to know, but I kind of want to know. You know what I'm saying? For the next 10 minutes, all of my husband's friends took turns insulting him in various ways. Many women talked about how they'd never be married to someone who didn't get the job done. See, but the thing is, some women, if you're on SSRIs, if you're on anti-anxiety or antidepressive medications or other medications, sometimes it can be really hard for you to cross the finish line. Both sexes, by the way, male or female. If you take SSRIs, chances are it's harder for you to finish, right? So there's some context here that I'm curious about that I don't know any details on. Maybe it is harder for her to finish because of her medical back history. I don't know. It doesn't seem like that's the problem because I feel like she would have said this. The fact that she said, yeah, just never had anyone try, I guess. What does that even mean? How are you married and nobody's ever tried? Mormon, did you marry the first guy? Did you not do it until you got married? He must have been your first boyfriend. There's no, yeah. I'm getting all worked up. My husband made us leave early. When we got home, he lectured me about how I humiliated him. You did. Is it his fault that he got humiliated? Probably, yeah. He should probably have tried. He should have tried by now. What if he has been trying? No! No, I take back what I'm saying. It's your responsibility as partners to each other to look out for the other person and to fulfill them that way, because if you're married, no one else is going to be able to do that for them. So you're taking care of your guy, he's taking care of you, back and forth. No, absolutely, I take everything back. He should have tried by now. God damn it. I pointed out that she asked, and I have a tendency to be honest. He's been really upset the last several days, and he keeps saying he can't talk to his friends because they now think badly of him. Aw, your friends think badly of you because you're not getting your wife to the finish line. Oh, your friends think badly of you because you are a selfish lover. Maybe try to be a better person. AITAH for being honest here. Edit. I brought the issue up countless times in the past. He tells me that it's not important / not a big deal that he doesn't get me off. Since it's not that important, I just don't see why I have to hide it like some kind of dirty secret. Oh, this changes things a lot. Nope. Glad you brought it up. End of story. Glad you brought it up. He should be feeling shame for this. He's very stupid. I don't even need to read the comments, but for fun, let's read 2. Holy shit, your significant other says he tells me that it's not important, not a big deal that he doesn't get me off. That's nuts. I would feel like a failure as a lover. I'm sorry. My gran was a bit of a prude, okay? I'm very interested in what this means. How do you know that? You trying to put one on your grandma? Well, let's keep reading. I'm so sorry. My gran was a bit of a prude, but even she told me when I was 16, mind you, not too early, LOL, if he hasn't got time to make sure you're taken care of and enjoy everything first, then he doesn't have time for sex at all. Boom, bam, boom. You can't hear me snapping. Boom, bam, boom. Gran is right. Look, man, if you're in a relationship, take care of each other. Okay? If you're seeing this and you're calculating in your head, it's been a while since I've actually tried to give and not even care about receiving. Do that. Do that. Give it a go. Watch your love life blossom. Okay? Give. What a messy situation. Look, just have people take care of, take care of people. Be nice to people. Be good to people. Have a partner that you respect. Respect your partner. Okay? Because if you don't respect them, then you think you can say really stupid shit like it's not important / not a big deal. What is wrong with you? You selfish maniac. Who told you this? My poor fellow, you have been led astray. Okay? Let me help you out here. Metronome. Ping pong. Ding dong. Bing bong. Glad I could help. Outro.